and show what can't be seen by the untrained eye, like what we discussed with the graph, right? So for an untrained eye, somebody who's not into finance but they have a lot of money, they are investing in some shares. So what do? So they have to understand what to do. So this will be a good, are you able to see this? Okay, this is a pie chart where it's saying what percentage you have to invest in, the different percentages, right? So that is actually explaining visually to an untrained eye, somebody who can't understand real finance details. Okay, so can you repeat this if I changed it? Ready? Okay, what do we do like we usually do? Break it into 3 groups. I don't know why you avoided this side. You just wanted to be one big group when I do the quiz. So why don't we take a half from here? One group, and one group. Okay, remember 1 point each. Okay? That'll be easier. Okay. Tell me 1 point from the previous slide. First one. Okay. Physical. Oh, that was an easy one.
Show what's happening to the untrained eye.
Okay. There were 4 points, right?
Yes.
Okay, somebody else. 4 points.
Capturing.
Capturing, which we already said. Narrator already said.
Emphasize physical appearance.
Okay, good. Okay. What are the common graphic devices? Tables. You are used to tables, right? You have exposure to tables. And graphs and charts. Diagrams and sketches. Maps, drawings and photographs. It helps in scientific visualization. Say for example, you want to explain this brain, the parts of the brain. It's going to be very, very difficult. So we have all these, I'm not able to clearly read it, but frontal, the lobe and everything, frontal lobe, all those things. Okay, auditory, temporal lobe, visual thing. Okay, those, okay, anyway. Scientifically, it will make things easier for us to explain. Tell me one other thing that we have used before to explain some concept visually. On this.
Concept map?
Concept map.
Yes.
So, what did we do on the concept map earlier?
Car.
That was the latest one. This is complicated one, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember that. Okay. So, we use all that. We use diagram sketches. We have used drawings. And we have been using photographs on the PowerPoint. So, why are we doing all this? What are we doing? Why are we using these devices? And why are we using pictures?
To grab the user.
To?
Grab the user.
For better explanation.
For better explanation.
In simple way, understand.
Okay. So
For a
what
good
were those
presentation.
10 points we just saw?
To simplify complex data.
Okay. We just saw 10 points. That is why we are using visual communication to achieve those 10 points, right?
Yes.
I was hoping one of you will say, I think Dikshita said 1 point. What about the remaining 9? Do you understand why we saw what we saw in the previous slides? The 10 points? Yeah? Apply it. We are applying that. Okay? That is the reason. Those 10 are the reasons why we are using visual communication. Okay? Okay, these are just design elements which we will be using in your presentation. When you are doing your presentation in week 11, try to use different things, but you have to remember where you're using them. So it could be points and dots, lines, shape, tone, texture, color, size. What do I do usually to give emphasis on certain points in my lectures? What do I do the presentation I make? What do I always say I do?
Direction.
Direction, I don't put it right to left. Color, I add color, right?
Yes.
I add explanations and add color here and there, adding pictures and all those things. So those are the visually emphasize some point to, apart from keeping you all awake, right? I try to emphasize some points, right? Okay, so that we use to emphasize points and for all the other advantages. So before your presentation in week 11, these are the questions you have to answer, okay? You have to be clear about all of these questions. As always, what is the word that we always use in communication? That we were discussing in the beginning of this class?
Context.
Context.
Yes.
So who are we addressing? Who are you trying to communicate with? Yeah, this audience, when you are going to present to this class, you are addressing me and you are addressing master students who are already into communication, who are into professional communication. So how will the standard be? Very high. Okay, I would like to see that. Yeah, actually I do expect a really good standard, master's level, okay? So you're doing professional communication. I want you to be professional and do it at a very good standard. Okay. So you have to know which message can be presented graphically. Right? I can't keep on putting pictures for every single word. That will become too much. What will happen? What is the disadvantage of having too many pictures? It can distract you, right? It can distract you from the main thing. See, like the first screen, because I went back and asked you questions, you remembered the apple, right? He missed out all the other points. He remembered the apple. So you have to remember, don't put too many pictures. Okay, for your presentation, think of this from the viewpoint of your presentation. So you have to make the standard to suit this class. Which messages will be presented graphically? You should know where to present graphically. When it's very serious information, you can't keep on putting pictures, right? What do you want to say in the graphic? So here again I just had a tsunami aftermath, okay? So that's telling us some graphical thing that happened in that situation. It's creating that emotion, right? So I actually put it there just to explain this. What do you want to say in the graphic? Say for example you're a journalist, okay? And you want to talk about you're reporting about the tsunami that happened in Japan. So what will you say?
What time, what date?
Okay, apart from all that.
What are the natural disasters?
You won't write about what are the natural disasters. That's what happened in the assignment. I was asking a question about professional communication and you've written about global warming. I don't want that to happen. I want you to answer the question. So you're a journalist, you're reporting about the tsunami that happened in Japan.
Like the aftermath situation.
What is the aftermath? What is happening? The disaster. You're explaining the disaster, and you need a picture to emphasize that point, right? And what does the graphic need to do? What do you want the graphic to do in this situation? Just take this slide for example. This picture, this tsunami. What I think you're not able to see clearly. Some cars have been upturned and houses are broken and all that. So what does the graphic need to do? What is this graphic doing here?
It's showing us the
Portraying
impact.
so that we can see what
Impact.
Overall impact.
Yeah, overall impact. What effect are you hoping to create?
No,
What do you want your readers to feel?
feel sad.
Feel the emotion. Yeah, you're trying to convey some emotion, right? Of course, it's not just making them sad. It's not a sadistic thing that we are talking about. We're talking about how they will feel. Maybe there will be a lot of people who will want to contribute some help, some money. In some way they will want to help. So you're trying to promote something positive. How how will it relate to your text? So you have to definitely relate it. For example, I don't want to keep going back to that again and again, the assignment, but it gave me such a shock marking it that I can't get it out of my system. It's a question about professional communication. It's a huge paragraph about global warming. I still don't understand what it was there for. It was an example that was given in the question. Okay, then suddenly in the middle there's a paragraph explaining about global warming. Why? What? Either you should have asked, but then now I'm asking. Okay, so it should relate to your text. There should be some relevance to what you're doing, right? And what are common graphical languages that you and your audience share? Say for example, you want to bring a little toy or something. Would that suit this class?
No.
So if you're in year 1, would that suit that class? Yes, isn't it? So they have in schools, in primary schools, they have something called show and tell here. So they have to give speeches and presentations, and they'll be using little toys. That'd be very interesting. For the children, it's very interesting to show something like that and talk about it. Here it will become a bit silly. You can't really do that, right? Because the context is different, right? Okay, so graphical language that you will use, what will you use? What are you planning to use here? Pictures? We're going to use some 3D.
Animation.
Sorry?
Animation.
Animation? Okay.
Graphics.
Okay, so again it's technological, right? You're not going to bring some 3D thing to show. Okay. It's not wrong. It's not as if we are wrong. The other day I was talking to you about this bottle because I had to use this as an example, right? So it's not wrong to use a 3D thing, but we won't generally do it. Okay, using graphics in written work. So the first thing in your presentation, in your assignment, say for example, determine your objective for using a visual and the message you want to convey. Okay? Choose a graphic style that's appropriate for your goal. Do you get what is written there? Yeah? Can you explain what we are talking about? This is something related to what we discussed in the previous thing.
Yeah, yes.
You have to be more clear, guys. I hear a lot of noise from one point. Yeah, sorry.
The pictures should be relevant to the text.
By using some objectives, the
First
information
point.
should be provided.
Okay. I'm talking about the second point. Choose a graphic style that's appropriate for your goal.
Use the right font. Use the right font.
According
Font.
Style. Like the picture.
Say, for example, I want to explain. I want to buy. Say the same car example. The whole semester we are using the same car example. Okay. I want to buy a car. I want to find the prices. Okay. In 98, it was $5,000. In